Now let's get back to the football show on 1490 WBCB, live from the Stadium Sports Bar at the Holiday Inn with Derek Gunn and Joe Kraus.
And welcome back, everyone, to the football show here on a Tuesday night. We've accomplished, D. Gunn, what we've set out to do.
That's right.
And that is bury or put an end to the hangover from the Tuesday loss to the New York Football Giants.
No. We've put it behind us.
We've put it behind us.
But a lot of people in the city are not going to let it go until the next game.
Put that game behind it. Again, San Francisco comes in for what will be the second second home game number 4 on the season. On the line with us now is the new head coach of the Philadelphia Soul. If you're an NFL fan, certainly you recognize the name 46, the jersey, 46 defense, Buddy Ryan, and an era that started and stayed in Chicago, and he's now part of the Philadelphia landscape. Doug Plank joining us here on the football show. Doug, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I'll tell you what, Derek, Joe, it's great to be on the show.
Good to have you, Coach. Let me welcome you to the city at a time when the city's very edgy right now over the loss on Sunday. I just want to make sure you know what you signed up for, man. This is a tough town, Coach.
No, I watched the game. It was very painful to watch. And the only thing you can say is they're only one game out of the lead, and that's a very, very close division. But, gosh, I felt the pain just watching that game. And I was just like every other fan, huge expectations, the dream team, going into the season. And you just have to be careful sometimes, don't assume anything, especially in the National Football League.
Hey, Doug, Derek Gunn, welcome to Philadelphia.
Well, thank you.
And I'm going to tell you point blank, I grew up in Wisconsin, diehard Packer fan, and I used to watch Packers and Bears, knockdown, drag-out fight, brass knuckles, you name it. You were a part of it. And, man, the way you used to hit sometimes, it would make your body shake watching it on TV. You look at the way the game is played now, especially from a defensive perspective. Could you have played in today's game? Because basically it's become touch football for the offense. Defensive players are not allowed to do some of the things that you were doing when you played in your era. Could you have played in this particular era of football?
I would say unequivocally no. I happened to be playing at the same time when Darryl Stingley was hit by Jack Tatum on the West Coast and paralyzed. And I knew his son. He lived in Chicago. In fact, Darryl used to come to all the Chicago Bear games, even after his injury, and he would sit in his wheelchair at the end of our ramp as we were coming out of the locker room. And you don't think that gives you a sober reminder of exactly what can happen in this game. But things changed even back then. When that play happened, the NFL really kind of started looking at hits a different way. And I think they started trying to ratchet it down and trying to be more careful and cautious, but then they just kind of let things go for a while. But, there's no doubt right now with the tide of conversation with concussions that, they are looking at hits very, very closely. And frankly, I don't think you can probably go through a game now without having a big hit that it's not going to be reviewed and possibly either penalized or even possibly fined after the play is over.
The NFL, Doug, Coach Plank, is a passing league, and I've heard many commentators out there start to refer or compare that to the AFL in terms of the number of passes that are thrown and the number of points that are scored. Your task at hand coming in with the Philadelphia Soul. Let's talk, because free agency is now underway as we speak. I get a press release over the phone about Philadelphia signing a top quarterback, Dan Radabaugh. So you're active already with the Soul.
Well, you know what? Think about this, guys. Think about not having any long-term contracts. Think about every coach, every player having a one-year contract in the Arena Football League. And that's the way it is. So when we say free agency, I mean, look out. It's free agency. Everybody's available. Everybody's on the table. So we talk about going out there and making phone calls. I mean, literally, we are putting our entire team together. And that goes with coaching staff. When I got hired, I didn't want to do a real quick decision and hire somebody that I might later, regret. So I just tried to wait as long as I could, in terms of trying to put the staff together. But now that we're into free agency, I have to very quickly finish, hiring my staff. But most importantly, it's putting a team together and starting with the quarterback position. And you just mentioned that the person we just signed, Dan Radabaugh, who had been with the Dallas franchise last year, and like you said, incredible numbers in the Arena League. I mean, you're talking about a 50-yard field, so really you're almost doubling the numbers that you would have in the NFL. We have an 18-game season. Dan threw for 90 touchdowns last year, over 4,700 yards. And I know that sounds hard to digest. It's hard for me as a former defensive player to have to watch these passes go on and touchdowns. And but you know what? This game, just like the NFL right now, it's about turnovers. There aren't very many shutdown defenses out there anymore. Everything is about trying to create turnovers.
Doug, as you put your team together, and once you have this team formed, having played the game at the highest level, having played with a proud organization, what is the one constant that you want to preach to your team?
Well, I think this league is totally dictated by quarterbacks, just like the NFL has become. I think back when I first came in the league with Walter Payton came in the same year, and the Earl Campbells and all those great running backs. You know what? The game is going away from running. It's going more into passing, and it's the same thing that's true in the Arena Football League. So, what we are really focusing on is the quarterback position. If you don't have efficiency at the quarterback, you're not going to have success. So what does that do for your defense? That means you have to go out there and you have to get pass rushers. And I've always been a believer in whatever level you play, Arena Football League, NFL, college, big guys can cover up for little guys. And what do I mean by that? As a defensive back, if we have a great pass rush, I don't have to be a great defensive back because we're going to get to the quarterback. And the same thing is true on the other side. If we got a great offensive line, we're going to protect for the quarterback so he could be average and stand back there and find open receivers. So my first goals are, after the quarterback is to secure a great pass rush and good offensive line.
Well, and one free agent, by the way, who, as you know, who's off the market, is Donovan Morgan, already signed. And now, as you put the pieces together, I've got to ask you, Coach, before I let you go, the expectation in Philadelphia from this town and these fans is anything less than an Arena Bowl is a tough thing to swallow.
You know what? Hey, I love that expectation. That's what I have for myself. I didn't want to come to this city and just be a coach and just put another team out there. They were 6-12 last year. They're not going to be 6-12 next year. I can promise you that. And the other thing is we are going to have a chip on our shoulder. Whoever we play against, they're going to know they played the Philadelphia Soul. That's all I got to say.
Head coach Doug Plank, can't say it any better than that. Coach, appreciate you checking in on the football show. Love to have you. We're here every Tuesday night. I would love to continue to talk to you as you build that Philadelphia Soul organization and get ready for the 2012 season. And as you watch the NFL from afar with the games that you do on Sundays, love to continue to get your perspective. Coach, appreciate you checking in, my friend.
Hey, thanks, guys. We look forward to being on the show again.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, Doug Plank, man, he was unbelievable, wasn't he? What a hitter he was. A sticker, man.
That was back in the days, man, when you could just lower your head and put your shoulder pads right in the guy's chest and just take his whole spirit away from him, man.